Hope you guys are doing amazing. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Just waiting on more people to come in. Today we have an amazing topic, and it's going to be maybe a little heavy, but it's definitely something that needed to be talked about. So I wanted to do a topic today. I wanted to do about fibroids and how it does mean that there is wounded feminine energy, okay, in the body. And I'm definitely going to break that down today, okay? So if you have fibroids, or if you know somebody that has fibroids, be sure to share this video with them, okay? Thank you guys for being here with me on a Sunday. Be sure to like the video, tap on the screen so we can get more women in here. You guys know how the algorithm works. It's really important to understand that when it comes to fibroids, it's not just a physical tumor. It's not just, these physical masses that take up space in our womb. It's much deeper than that, right? It's also, energetic blockages, emotional blockages, and there are deep reasons for these issues, okay? So it's really important for you to understand. If you don't mind, please help me out. I'm doing good. Hey, Santa. Hope that you're doing amazing. Y'all tap on the screen. We only got one like. Let's get the likes up so we can get more women in here. It's really important to understand this, okay? For those that are coming in, hi and welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Santa. Hope that you're doing amazing. Hi and welcome. My name is Sasha. Okay, if you're not following me, be sure to follow me. My name is Sasha. I'm a holistic womb specialist, and what I do is I help women who have fibroids and other reproductive health issues get to the physical root cause and the emotional root cause in order for them to heal. So I've helped many women get rid of fibroids. I've helped many women get rid of ovarian cysts, PCOS, endometriosis. I've helped women get pregnant naturally after years of infertility and, fertility treatments that did not work. I've helped women address, get rid of hormonal imbalances and be able to live in balance and in harmony with their bodies and with their womb, which is very important when it comes to women, okay? And a lot of times women don't understand that these issues are much deeper than the physical, right? And this is why when it comes to healing, I always talk about, bridging both the physical and the energetic. We have to heal. We have to get to the root cause of the issue. You cannot just address fibroids by, only addressing the uterus and just looking at it, your fibroids, just so linear, like only looking at the uterus. Number one, it's a full body issue, okay? Because we also have other systems in the body that are affected when we have fibroids. And there's also emotional root causes for fibroids that need to be addressed. And I want to talk today about how fibroids equal wounded feminine energy, okay? So this is going to be a really good live. Okay, so Santa, we want to keep it on topic today. I'm going to make time for Q&A later, so be sure to stick around. Y'all tap on the screen, like the video. We only have 35 likes, okay? Y'all tap. Let's get the likes up so we can get more women in here. This is going to be a really good video, okay? I'm excited. Just keep tapping so we can get it up to like 200, 300. That's how it works on TikTok, in case you guys don't know, okay? Tap on the screen. But when it comes to fibroids, thank you. I think it was No Trees that disliked the video. Let's get the likes up to at least 100 before we get started. Okay, yes. Thank you guys. Yes, this is how we get more women in here. That's why it's so important to like the video so that the algorithm, TikTok can know, okay, let's put it in more women's For You pages or however that works so more women can be able to find this video. This is so important because how many women are stuck in, planning surgeries and not understanding that when it comes to fibroids, when it comes to their reproductive health issues, yes, there's physical root causes. And it's also when you are suppressing a lot of emotional blockages in the womb on an energetic level, guess what? That's going to affect your physical habits and what you do on a day-to-day basis. This is why women are dealing with, really huge fibroids and that are exhibiting lots of symptoms. It is not your body coming against you. It's your body trying to alert you, trying to let you know that there's deeper things that need to be healed and addressed. Okay, but what happens in society is that we suppress things in order to push through and keep going, keep getting the job done, or keep we're worried about our responsibilities and everything. Not saying that we shouldn't worry about those things, but we just continue to push through. That's kind of how we were programmed. That's how we were taught, instead of actually addressing the being in our bodies and addressing what needs to be addressed. How many of us are continuously operating from our head and not in our bodies? This is why a lot of women don't understand their bodies. They don't know what's going on with their bodies. Their bodies are bleeding out. They're dealing with anemia. They're dealing with this. They're dealing with that. All of these mineral deficiencies, and they have no clue what's going on. They're so confused, right? Or they're going to doctors all the time and not being able to get any type of real healing, right? Because you're not addressing the physical root causes or the emotional root causes, okay? So I'm going to talk today about how fibroids and how it equals wounded feminine energy. Again, if you're not following me, be sure to follow me, okay? This is going to be a really good live, okay? So yes, make sure you guys are following me. If you're not following me, I talk about this and also the physical root causes of fibroids all the time. From a holistic standpoint, because everything when it comes to body, mind, and soul, everything is connected. Nothing is separate. And when it comes to Western medicine, the mistake that they make is thinking that everything is separate. This is why we're always in confusion. And when we go the Western medicine route, we never really find healing, right? We're always having to be cut open. Then the fibroids will grow back, right? Letting you know, listen, and then they grow back with vengeance. And then we go through surgery again, and they grow back with vengeance again, right? You have to address that root cause, okay? So what do fibroids symbolize on an energetic level, on an emotional level? These physical tumors are also blockages. They're emotional blockages. They're you are holding on to in the body, in the womb space, and also suppressing. They represent emotional suppression, things that has happened in the past, hurts, pains that are being suppressed, past trauma, past pain, guilt, resentment. It could be from childhood trauma, it could be from sexual trauma, it could be from past relationships, there are deeper things being held and trapped in the womb space, right? That we're holding on to, that we're suppressing, that we have not addressed and, unpacked and let go of, okay? So this does affect our creative. Remember, our womb is our feminine center, our creative feminine center. Our wombs are not just, they're not just for, they represent creation. So we create, there's babies that come out of there, but also our purpose, our passions, right? There is deeper, our desires, right? All of that stuff, we're cultivating all that stuff in the womb space. So when you have these traumas that you're holding on to, you have to understand that the body keeps score, right? You have to understand that. So when women are dealing with fibroids, especially when they're dealing with, some of you have fibroids that are really big. You're going through so many symptoms. It's bleeding. You're bleeding so much. Your body's trying to get your attention. This is not just happening by chance and because you're unlucky. Your body's trying to get your attention on a deeper level. So fibroids are feedback. I want you to look at it as feedback. They're not just physical tumors. They're emotional blockages, but it's also feedback on, what you're suppressing, what you're holding on to, okay? And it's so important. Hey, everybody that just came in, make sure that you guys are following me if you guys are not following me, and like the video as well. And it's saying that it's time to release this stuff. It's time to release these deep-seated emotions. And at first we have to unpack them and address them and process them. We cannot continue to suppress these deep emotions. We cannot continue to suppress them and continue to go on and think that, we're going to be okay. So I'm going to give some examples. Some of this stuff may be very painful for people to unpack. So even things like past miscarriages, past even abortions, which is very common for women to suppress that, because society tells you that, okay, you probably have told yourself, oh my God, I had to do what I had to do. That wasn't the right guy. It wasn't the right time. But you never unpacked that pain, right? You never thought about what could have been. You tried to suppress it and bury it, but it's still there. You get what I'm saying? So what you're saying is fibroids is related to emotion. Absolutely. 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 These physical tumors are not just physical. Yes, they're physical, but they're there for a reason. There's deep emotional wounds. And this is why, and let me give you an example. You know how when women have fibroids, a lot of times when women have these deep emotional wounds, what do women do? They eat because they're trying to suppress something, emotional eating, or they're not taking care of themselves, or they're burying themselves in work, right? They're burying themselves with responsibilities. They're burying themselves. They're not thinking about their desires. They're not thinking about their dreams. They're not thinking, they've suppressed that. Right? So it becomes deeper. And then how you cope with that is that you eat, is that in ways you drink, you go out drinking, you party, and you don't understand that that's, in a sense, abusing your body, abusing yourself. Okay. This is interesting. No medical doctor tells you that. Yeah, it is related to hormones, but understand it is related to hormones, but also you have to understand too that when you are unbalanced, when you are holding on to energetic blockages, yes, your hormones will be out of balance. So hormones, I talk about that too. Yes, fibroids are, from hormonal imbalances, but what happens when the body is out of balance, right? Your hormones become out of balance. So all of this stuff is connected, right? So yes, there are physical reasons fibroids happens, but deeper emotional reasons offset this stuff. And some of this stuff may be even generational, right? That have not been addressed, because if your mother was going through a very hard time, possibly being victimized, or she was really stressed out while she was pregnant with you, best believe that stuff is imprinted on you as well if you don't unpack that and release that. Because sometimes we could think that we could feel that traumas are not really our own, but they've been passed down to us. So that's why it's so important to also too have a conversation with your mom. Have a deep conversation with your mom on what were, and I've done this. I've asked my mom, like, what was going on in your life when you were pregnant with me, right? Because you may think that, oh, she was happy and everything was, but they may have been other things she was dealing with on the back end, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. So the suppression of emotions, the anger, the sadness, the pain that from maybe past relationships, maybe childhood trauma, maybe sexual trauma, maybe abortions, maybe miscarriages, all this stuff, it creates this emotional blockage in the body, in the womb, and it becomes trapped in that. This is how we get fibroids, right? This is how we get these tumors, these tumors that are like almost take on a life of their own, right? Fibroid tumors almost take on a life of their own. So over time, these unexpressed emotions they lead to, you start bleeding out. You start dealing with anemia. You start, having all of these issues with the body. The body starts deteriorating. Understand, when you have fibroids, when you get fibroids, your body starts deteriorating, right? Literally, you feel it. And also, not only, thank you guys so much for sharing this video. Make sure you also are following me. Like the video, type on the screen. Let's get the likes up. We're not even at 1,000 likes yet. Let's type on the screen, like the video. But this unresolved trauma, this stuff that we're just pushing through, right? This does leave deep imprints in the body and the mind. Why do you think people that are dealing with a lot or that have been through a lot, they start doing other things that are unhealthy, toxic habits to cope? This is why it's so hard for women to break toxic habits. Some people use sex as a coping mechanism, or food, or because when you're not using anything to cope and you're just there addressing your trauma, that's hard for a lot of people. They can't handle that, right? So then they have to, it may be so unconscious, you may not even notice it, right? You have to distract yourself with something. You have to, you know what I mean? And it tends to be food for most women, right? It tends to be, unhealthy habits, not taking care of yourself, right? Overworking, it could be, working overtime, stress levels, anxiety makes hormonal imbalances too. Absolutely. But where does this stress and anxiety come from, right? That too. All of this stuff affects fibroids. And Ruby, I don't know if you follow me, I talk about this all the time. All those things, yes, affect fibroids. That's why women that have fibroids tend to they have emotional issues, or a lot of emotional suppression, or anxiety is huge with women that have fibroids. So endometriosis is similar, but it's more so wounded masculine. I'm going to address that on another live, okay? So make sure you're following me. I'm going to address that on another live. I want to really talk about fibroids, but you can also use some of this stuff because a lot of women have fibroids and endometriosis too, right? So, but that's more so unresolved anger, pain. It's a lot with endometriosis, right? That's another layer that I want to address in another live. But this leads to, over time, these unexpressed emotions, these blockages in the womb, it leads to things like, chaotic menstrual cycles, right? Because your womb is going to be, your hormones are going to be out of balance when you're out of balance, when you're holding on and suppressing a lot of things. Your womb is going to be out of balance. The symptoms that they're exhibiting in your body, the PMS, right? The bloating, it's almost like your body's trying to talk to you, heavily bleeding, right? It's almost like your body's trying to alert you and let you know. But unfortunately, most people don't understand that. They don't know that, or they think that some stuff is it's normal. I have both surgery in a few weeks. On this, okay, at the Asia show, I wish you the best of luck. I don't do surgery. Well, I encourage people not to do surgery because you're not addressing the root cause, okay? And they just keep coming back. It keeps coming back, right? The endometriomas, the tissue, it keeps coming back when you don't address the root cause, the physical and the emotional root cause. I've helped women heal from endometriosis, from fibroids, from PCOS, because we address the physical and the emotional root cause. That's important. Get pregnant naturally. That's important. You have to, if you don't address the root cause, the issues continue to come back, or they come back through another health issue, okay? They come back in the form of another health issue, okay? This is why people this is why people also get cancer over and over again, okay? I have endometriosis and fibroids, but the damn doctor took 7 years to diagnose it. Yeah, unfortunately, especially with endometriosis, it could take a long time to diagnose. Same thing with PCOS. And this is why, and the thing is, I'm happy that you're finally been diagnosed. But I also tell women, look at your body's symptoms, because women think that when they don't have a particular diagnosis, that they don't have to worry about any, like the symptoms that they're having. So you can have a woman that has PCOS that's heavily bleeding for, you know, for maybe 7 to 10 days and think that that's normal, and think, okay, well, just because she doesn't have fibroids, then everything's fine. That's no, your body's alerting you. And understand those women, and this may have happened to some of you guys, when you don't recognize the warning signs, it's like your body's getting louder. Then it starts developing a reproductive health issue. It goes from heavy bleeding to, okay, now it's fibroids or endometriosis or something else, and then now it's even thyroid issues, and now you see now it's anemia. Now you see how it keeps piling on. You gotta address the root cause. You cannot, or you're gonna remain in this confusion trying to like figure out a solution for the rest of your life, and you don't want that for yourself. You don't want that for yourself, okay? So the womb does hold on, you know, to past hurts, to pain, all of this stuff contributes to hormonal imbalances, to fibroids, to heavy bleeding, right? To PMS, to horrible, chaotic menstrual cycles, okay? Y'all, let's get the likes up to 1,000. If you guys are enjoying the live, tap on the screen. If y'all are learning a lot, tap on the screen, because we don't even have 1,000 likes, okay? Let's get it up, okay? Tap on the screen. So let's talk about unfulfilled desires. This one is huge. Thank you, Leona, for liking the video. Thank you, y'all. Let's get the likes up to 1,000. Let's talk about unfulfilled desires, because this is one thing too that also contributes to fibroids. With women, I told you that when the woman's a creative space, it also holds desires, passions, right? It also holds our purpose. And a lot of women are not living in their purpose. A lot of women have a ton of unfulfilled dreams and desires that they can't even fathom actually taking action on, okay? This is why you have a lot of women that are stuck in loops and hate their lives, and you know that they're just working like in a careers that they hate and the situation that they hate because maybe because of society's pressures and different things, right? Or they were taught to follow this path, but instead of neglecting their own path, their own purpose, they neglected that to follow what society told them to follow, or maybe what their parents planned for them, right? So that's another thing as well. So it's like you're longing from some type of, the womb space is longing. Remember, fibroids is also block creativity. Like there's a block from your creativity. There's a block from your purpose. There's a blockage from your desires. So it's like you're longing from this, you know, to live in your purpose, to express yourself creatively, to creatively express yourself. But there's a block there. Just found 3 fibroids, age 55. Yes. Unfortunately, menopausal fibroids are common. Not saying that you're menopause, but fibroids, like women that's being diagnosed with fibroids, a lot of times too, is happening to women in their 50s, 60s, and even 70s. This is getting very common. And a lot of women think that after a certain age, they no longer have to worry about fibroids. And that could not be further from the truth. So when you're ignoring your desires, when you suppress them, again, emotional suppression, right? They become buried in like your energetic field. They start to become deep wounds that do eventually, you know, translate to fibroids, that do eventually manifest as fibroids. And this is why you have women that are bleeding for 2 weeks at a time, a month at a time, right? And the doctors can't really do much about it, but give them a pill to stop it. And that's not how you address this naturally, right? Because it's just going to happen again once they stop taking the pill, right? So you see what I'm saying? So it starts to manifest as imbalances in the body. Or maybe it doesn't show up as heavy bleeding right yet. It starts showing up as you notice your periods are getting worse. You know, it's painful cycles. Maybe you're dealing with back pain during your cycles, PMS, and none of that stuff is normal. Yes, menopause. Okay, yes, postmenopausal fibroids is very common. If fibroids don't just go away after menopause, ladies. So if you're in your 30s and 40s and you have fibroids, listen, if you don't want to be dealing with fibroids decades later, you have to address fibroids. You have to address this stuff, okay? Physically and also emotionally, right? Some people start with the physical, and then they start as they're changing, making changes physically, right, to their daily habits, to the toxic things, letting go of the toxic things that cause them the fibroids. They're also at the same time addressing the emotional stuff as well. Okay, so that's important. That's what I take my clients through in my Detoxify Your Womb program. It's really in my Detoxify Your Womb program. It's really important for you to understand this has to be addressed, right? If not, they just continue to manifest into worse health conditions. Nobody wants to be dealing with fibroids in their 70s. There was a woman on my live that came on my live a few weeks ago that said that she was 76 and dealing with fibroids. This is very real. This is not the time of yesteryear when you only have women dealing with fibroids in their 30s and then they go, no. What we're dealing with now, it's not only, people say it's the food, it's deeper than that. Yes, that is one thing, but it's deeper than that. It's much more now as a collective, right? We're dealing with a lot of people that are deeply too suppressing a lot of traumas, suppressing a lot of stuff, or maybe dealing with a lot of generational stuff, right? So understand that as a collective, and a lot of us are becoming more aware of our traumas, of our pain now that we've buried, because especially if you're like, millennial, Gen X, it's, we're now, looking at mental health. We're now looking at, okay, there's childhood traumas. There's things that actually do affect me now to this day, right? So it's important to understand that. Doctors in UK say fibroids happen in fertile ages. Yeah, they say that in the US too. So I guess that was a lie. I think you meant to say a lie. Absolutely. It's a total lie. And you have to understand, let me tell you something, guys. When it comes to fibroids or reproductive health, Western medicine, or even Western medicine does not have the answer for you. I'm so sorry. I have to tell you that they don't have the answer for you. All they have is surgery. All they have is medications. All they have is, they can diagnose you with fibroids, but they cannot tell you how to heal them. That's why when you ask them how to heal fibroids, they're like, oh, just surgery. But then you grow it right back, right? This is why you got to stop having the surgeries, because it's not working. Some of you guys probably have had 2 surgeries, 3 surgeries. Now, enough research is not put in place. Here's the thing, right? Enough research is not put in place. Yes, you could say that, but at the same time, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to blame the actual doctors, but there's a system that they're working for that doesn't want you to heal, because then you're not a lifetime customer. There's a system that they're working for that wants to keep you sick. Okay, you have to understand that. And I know a lot of people do understand that in 2024, but there's still some people that's confused. They don't get it. There's a system that's working, that they are working for. I know this because I have a family member in medical school, right? They've literally been brainwashed, right? And the family member told me this, like doctors don't know a lot of times that or maybe they do know, but because of, the oaths they take and everything, they can't tell you that, right? They can't tell you that this stuff can be healed naturally. Absolutely, I agree. Just like cancer patients, exactly. They don't want to take the holistic route. Exactly. They don't want you to, because when you take the holistic route, you don't become a lifetime customer of the system. When you take their route, because here's the thing. Let me tell you, women that have fibroids, they're always in the doctor's office. Do you know how much women that have fibroids spend on healthcare? Do you know, like the numbers are crazy per year, right? They're always in the hospital. You have some women, every time they have a period, they're getting iron infusions, they get blood transfusions, this, that. They're always there. Preach and preach. Thank you. They're always in the hospital because you become a lifetime client. And then if when it turns into something else, a lot of women that have fibroids also get autoimmune disorders because it's from that similar root cause, the estrogen dominance. I explained this in my other live, right? Estrogen, it turns into autoimmune disorders, then thyroid issues, then eventually for some women, and fertility issues. Remember, we're talking about the womb space here, right? There's energy. So this is why fibroids for a lot of women causes issues with fertility, makes it harder to get pregnant, or makes them have really horrible pregnancies, right? Or really, really painful pregnancies. It's like a struggle to bring a life into this world. Block creativity, right? It's blocking that womb space, right? Physically and energetically as well, okay? So sometimes it's very hard for the body to get pregnant when it does not feel safe. And when you have fibroids and you haven't unpacked and addressed that stuff, the reason, right, you don't feel safe. A lot of women that have fibroids don't feel safe in their bodies. they feel like their bodies, these tumors have taken over, right? They feel uncomfortable. They don't feel connected to their womb. They're not connected to with their cycle. There's no connection there, right? And Western medicine encourages that disconnection from the womb, unfortunately, right? There's no connection with the body, okay? So what are some emotional traits that indicate that there's a lot of wounded feminine? Okay, and I said this on Facebook. I said that, right? I posted on Facebook and I said that I'm gonna give you an example of wounded. This is one example of wounded feminine, and this is you. Don't get offended, right? I know this is gonna trigger some people, but I'm sorry. Like some women who there's different ways you can to see that there's so much truth. Thank you. You're welcome. There's different patterns that women that have wounded feminine, that have that wounded feminine energy exhibit. But here's one. Opting to stay single because of your past bad experiences with men. That's another thing too, right? So you know how a lot of women say they're opting to stay single because most men are trash or something like that, right? And I'm not trying to deny their experience, but guess what happens, right? Your ego is trying to keep you safe. So what it does, it scans for evidence of that most men are quote unquote trash, right? It scans. So this is women that they're always reading femicide articles, right? They're seeing evidence in their reality over and over and over again. They're not seeing evidence of women being loved and adored, even though there's lots of evidence out there, but their egos is not allowing them to see that because your ego is trying to keep you safe, right? But here's the thing. I'm not saying the ego is bad, but at the same time, it will keep you stuck in loops. So you keep experiencing the same bad experiences. I'm gonna give you an example. Like that woman that's always being almost cheated on, almost like every relationship she's being cheated on, or she's being abandoned in different ways in relationships. So it could be this different men, but they're all abandoning her in different ways. It could be one, and she's also too, because she has an abandonment wound that she hasn't dealt with. So I'm gonna give you an example. It could be one man, doesn't really spend much time with her because he puts everything before her, puts her to the back burner. She's not a priority, right? Maybe he work and everything comes before her. She could have experienced that. And then in another relationship, it's, maybe, a man is cheating on her with somebody else, right? It could have, or in another relationship, this is how also too, when women also seek out, and it's a mental thing, married men without even knowing, because it's like you attract experiences of men that abandon you. So that's another example, right? You look for emotionally unavailable men or physically unavailable men, right? Without even really realizing or being conscious of it. Which again, a lot of this stuff is subconscious. Hopefully I'm not losing anybody. So if you're opting to stay single because you in your experience, there's been, you feel as though most men are trash, or you feel like that, you've had negative experiences that you haven't resolved. That's another sign of wounded feminine. Or you're settling for somebody that is subpar out of fear of being alone. That is not somebody you would desire or really want, but out of fear of being alone. That's another thing too. Okay, that doesn't have the qualities that you would want. And some women are just not honest with themselves. They know that this is not the man that they really want, but because they feel unworthy of the man that they would really want, or that has the qualities that they want, they settle, because society also encourages that, but that's a whole other conversation, right? Feeling disempowered, feeling like you have no control in your life. That's another sign of wounded feminine. You have no control over your body. How many women have fibroids? They feel like they have no control. Their wombs cannot heal. I see this a lot. They feel like it's impossible for them to heal. And they will believe stories of doctors that tell them, oh, this condition can't be healed. The PCOS can't be healed. Endometriosis can't be healed, right? Fibroids, you can't shrink and get rid of your fibroids. They'll believe those stories. They're quick to believe them because it's almost like they feel disempowered, right? They feel like things are happening to them. They don't know that they have control over their reproductive health. They have control over their womb health. They have control over their bodies and the health of their bodies, right? So that's another example of wounded feminine. Codependency, feeling like you need to have somebody to make you happy, feeling like you need to have a man, feeling unhappy by yourself. That's another sign of wounded feminine. Feeling like you need to have somebody, like you feel, to save you from your life that you don't love, right? A lot of women hate their lives. A lot of women don't like their lives. They've made a mess of their lives they're overwhelmed, they're stressed out, right? And they're looking for coping mechanisms to help, instead of actually doing the work to address that. Or they're looking for men to come save them, right? Instead of them saving themselves. They're looking for that, or they're looking for the love that they did not get in childhood in men. So it's like they have to be in a relationship. They have to have somebody all the time because they're looking for the love that they did not get in childhood, right? Instead of actually loving themselves enough to be a whole, and then, attracting the love that they actually desire and want. Hopefully that makes sense, right? There's a difference there. Not saying that if you want to get married and all that stuff, that there's a wound. No, but it's like the need, this desperate need, the insecure feeling of being alone. That's different, right? A feeling, the insecurity of being alone, right? That's very different. There's also too a lot of women that have wounded feminine is a fear of rejection. A fear of rejection. It could be from, just different life experiences. It could be this deep fear because maybe you were rejected in a way in childhood by a parent or something. So you carry this in relationships. You have this fear, deep fear of rejection, deep fear of being abandoned, deep fear of, somebody not wanting to be with you anymore, right? There's this deep fear of that, right? And it breaks you almost when that does occur because it's triggering that past experience that you experienced maybe from a parent in childhood that wasn't there, that wasn't present. So there's that. Or there's suppressed emotions. You don't deal with your emotions. You just bottle them up. And that's not healthy. You bottle them up. That's another example of wounded feminine, right? When somebody, like for example, when somebody hurts you, instead of actually having a conversation with them, you bottle it up. Instead of actually addressing it, hey, what you did or what you said hurt me, you bottle it up. You just continue to push through. You bottle up all this pain, anger, resentment. Also, women that are people pleasers. This one is big. People pleasers, right? That they have this fear again of being left, of people not loving the real them. So they put on a show, they put on this performance, to have people, stay in their lives. They put on this performance, right? This performative act, trying to please everybody, but also in a way abandoning themselves. Right. So see how that occurs. That occurs a lot with women. They're abandoning themselves. They're in order to please people. OK, even if it hurts them, even though it takes from them, there's this need because you don't want to. Number one, you have this fear of upsetting people, and you have this fear of if you don't do everything, if you don't please people, that they're not going to love you, they're not going to like you, they're not just going to love you for you. OK, hopefully that makes sense. I know that's a little. I went on a tangent, but hopefully that makes sense. Also, unresolved grief too. Unresolved grief from miscarriages is big. From even abortions is big. Trigger warning, abortions is big. Relationship trauma that you have not dealt with, past divorces, past breakups, right? That you just continue moving, like you suppress, like heartbreak. There's that as well. And also to societal pressures to be something and that you're not. That's another thing too, that you're feeding into societal pressures to live your life a certain way, to be something that you're not, right? That's another thing as well. Hopefully I'm making sense here. I know I'm going off on a tangent, but it's important to understand and address this stuff, to understand that these patterns, these things that we suppress in our lives, they show up in many ways, right? So it's important to be self-aware and recognize patterns in your life. And when you have fibroids, when you have womb health issues, any type of womb health issues, understand that there's deeper emotional blockages and pain and things that need to be impacted as well. And sometimes that may not come to you immediately, right? That may not come to, may not understand, like, wait a minute, I've had people tell me like, everything's fine. But then later on it comes to you like, no, everything's not fine. There's deeper things that need to be healed and addressed there that you have suppressed and bottled up. That this is why there's such a disconnect from your body. There's a disconnect from the womb space. Okay. So another thing too is unresolved mother wounds is big. So this is also too causes wounded feminine. This is wounded feminine energy, right? So this is also too can cause fibroids. If you didn't get enough love and nurturing from your mom, right? That's another thing as well. Like for example, women that had single mothers, right? That were doing what they can to raise them and working and things like that. Maybe they didn't give them enough love and attention and emotional nurturing, right? Growing up, and they start to look for that in other places. food, men, in relationships. They start to look for that where they didn't get in childhood in other places. That because that pain, that neglect, that lack of nurturing can be too hard for them to want to bottle, to want to actually address, right? So it's important to understand that. It's important to be self-aware of these things and not suppress these things. We are taught as women that we're supposed to follow a certain script, right? We're supposed to, get married, have children, follow a script. And not saying there's anything wrong with that, right? But, a lot of women abandon their true purpose because of the scripts. If you understand what I'm saying, because of what they're supposed to, because of the script. And this is why women will get into situations and follow this quote unquote script. And then there's this like deep unhappiness, like 10 years later, and they're wondering why, because they didn't follow the path that they wanted to follow, right? They didn't, whether it was a career choice or, whatever, right? They would neglect their own purpose because of following society, what society tells them to do. So hopefully that makes sense. They would neglect what is put in their heart, what is, create what they've, their passions, their ideas. They will block that side of them in order to just push through and do what society wants them to do. And again, that's where emotional suppression comes up. This is why womb health issues start occurring. This is another reason as well. So we're not meant to push through, when it comes to our emotions, right? We're not meant to just continue. When it comes to negative emotions, we're not meant to just push through and just, suppress it. We're not meant to do that. And when we do that, you see that all of this stuff starts coming up. All of these symptoms start coming up. We're not meant to do that. We're meant to actually feel through this stuff and in a way, alchemize it, transmute it. We're not meant to just, suppress it and push through. And when we do, the body will start alerting you, listen, this needs to be addressed. This needs to be unpacked, right? This, you can't, it's almost like our intuition. And we become more and more when we continually ignore, suppress, we continue to feel more and more disconnected from our bodies, more and more disconnected. And then this is when women start thinking that their body is working against them. Right? I hear that a lot from women that have a lot of emotional blockages. Their body's working against them. They don't understand what's going on. Their periods are all over the place. It's not. It's deep emotional things that need to be addressed. Right? And this is why that you may be on a womb healing journey, and you may feel like, you're inconsistent and all over the place, and, it's not working out for you because you haven't addressed the emotional side of things, right? You haven't unpacked that. Okay. So I hope I'm making sense. Make sure you guys tap on the screen, like the video. These are conversations. This is why it's so important for women, number one, to dive and create creativity, to not suppress their emotions, to, not suppress their desires, to operate in their purpose. And honestly, a lot of women don't even understand what their purpose is because there's so much, like I said, there's so much bearing and suppression there that's happened. There's a disconnect from the womb space. There's a disconnect from the body. There's a disconnect from your intuition. And this stuff, like I said, is so important for us as women to be connected to that, right? When we deal with all this toxicity in the body, when we deal with all this, all of these things, right? Fibroids, meaning that there's so much toxicity in the body. The liver is stagnant. The digestive system is stagnant. All this stuff is going on in the body. This is going to also block us from our creativity and our intuition as well, right? So this is why, like, for example, my clients, as they start healing and releasing this stuff, they're able to be more in touch with their intuition, to be more in touch with their bodies, right? To be more in touch with even their digestive system, to understand what is actually harming their bodies. A lot of women, they're putting a lot of trash in their bodies. They don't even know like what is harming their body and what is actually healing their body. They can't feel it. You're supposed to be able to feel that, right? Because you've dumped so much trash in there, right? So it's so important for you to understand, to release the stagnant energy, to release this these emotional blockages, right? Also physical blockages. Okay, this is how we can really work towards dissolving. Thank you so much for the likes. Dissolving fibroids. This is why my clients are able to dissolve fibroids, dissolve things that doctors have said for years you can't get rid of naturally. Yes, you can. We do it every day in my Detoxify Your Womb program. I even had clients that have taken my courses that have been able to do it, hundreds over the years. Okay, so don't believe the hype. Don't believe Western medicine. Again, like I said earlier, they're there to keep you. When it comes to Western medicine, I'm not saying they're 100% bad, okay? But what I am saying, when it comes to reproductive health, when it comes to the womb space, they don't have much for you besides diagnosis, medications, suppressing the issue further, which suppress it, not addressing the issue. You want to address this stuff. You don't want to suppress it, right? The womb space should not be continuously cut into. No. We have to stop. We have to start, and it should not be taken out. It should not be, you should not be taking out tubes and all these things. This is why do you understand, like, even your fallopian tubes, your womb is connected to your brain, right? It's connected to your brain. So this is why a lot of women, when they get their tubes tied, or when they get their reproductive organs taken out, like, they don't tell you this part, but there starts being a lot of emotional, hormonal imbalances and emotional issues, right? Even more so. So understand, it's so important that you understand your womb is there for a reason. We don't just take it out. We don't just take out the parts. No, we heal them. We heal our reproductive organs. It is so important, okay? So understand that this is what we're gonna go into this further in my the moon circle. We're gonna go into further with aligning with our cycles, our hormonal cycles. We're gonna go into further really addressing the body, mind, and soul, addressing emotional suppression and alchemizing it, right? We're gonna go into that further in that the new membership I just opened up called the Moon Circle, the one that that is gonna be a community of women healing. It's a monthly membership, in case you guys don't know, and this is what the things that we're going to address in there. And it's so important because, like I said, a lot of women don't have an outlet for this stuff. They don't have, they don't have support on this journey of healing, because a lot of people don't believe that, fibroids can heal naturally, or they don't understand that, listen, there's deeper emotional blockages in the womb when there's fibroids there, when there's fibroids present. And that it's difficult to unravel when you don't, number one, you don't understand how the body works, right? A lot of women don't feel connected to their menstrual cycles, right? You have a 28-day natural menstrual cycle. How many women feel disconnected from that? Or they have their menstrual cycles all over the place, right? They don't even know when they're ovulating. Most women don't, right? Or they're dealing with lots of pain during ovulation. That's another thing too. They're dealing, with spotting, throughout their between cycles. Your body talks to you all the time, but do you understand what it's saying? Do you understand what it's telling you? Do you understand too, living these stressful life and these stressful lives with work and responsibilities, and not tuning into the body, not tuning into self, not always operating from your head? That's what society teaches us how to do, right? And never from the body. That causes these issues. That causes deeper emotional issues, a deeper disconnect from the body, deeper disconnect from the womb. Okay? So it's important to understand that. It's important to also start making changes and be more connected. This is what we're going to teach in the Moon Circle. How to be more connected with your womb. That's important, because most women are just not. This is how we start healing, the healing process, right? Addressing the emotional suppression, allowing it to come up and feeling through it and alchemizing it and transmuting it. Okay. Also too, dealing with the deep, wounded, the feminine wounds, the emotional blockages, dealing with that, alchemizing that, right? So it's important to understand and being more connected with your menstrual cycle, with your 28-day menstrual cycle. This is important, okay? Aligning your lifestyle, living in the flow state as well, living a life of flow and not of struggle, hardship. This is what, overwhelm. A lot of people don't like their lives, but they haven't created a beautiful life for themselves. They haven't. This is another thing. There's people that live in a flow state that actually, you don't have to struggle. You don't have to, have chaotic lives. You don't have to feel overwhelmed, right? You don't have to feel this burnout. We're also going to address all of that stuff, because that too, all that stress, overwhelm, chaotic lifestyle, this is why you're having horrible periods. This is why you disconnected from your body, your intuition. This is why you have these fibroids. This is why your hormonal imbalance equals a woman that is imbalanced. So this is a woman that's hormonally imbalanced is going to have a lifestyle that's imbalanced. Or also when you're hormonally imbalanced, it affects your brain chemistry as well. It affects all of your bodily, symptoms. Hormone imbalance shows up so many different ways in the body, right? And like I said, when you continue to let on, the body starts to express more and more symptoms and start to deteriorate. This is why a lot of women also too anemic, low, a ton of minerals that are deficient in the body. Okay, so it's important. You have to address this stuff. You have to go in and heal. You have to do the work. Okay, so the moon circle we opened up. Right now, for women that are interested in joining, it is $99 a month, okay? I'm gonna be doing bi-weekly lives in there. There's gonna be free resources. It's gonna be an amazing community of women. You're not gonna be alone during the process. And as we get to the colder months, I know it's, still summertime now, technically. This is when a lot of women suffer when it comes to, especially women that have fibroids and women that have reproductive issues, because this is when hospital visits go up, seasonal depression. This is when we start really, people are eating a lot to cope with, a lot of pain. People, a lot of holiday parties are going on. It's so easy to get lost. And a lot of women don't know how to also eat in a way that are going to heal their body and heal their wombs. We're going to teach that. Hey, Allison, hey. We're gonna teach that in the moon circle, okay? So that this membership is gonna be absolutely amazing. It's for women that need community, because women heal in communities, right? For women that need support during their journey, for women that need information as well when it comes to dealing with these emotional things and also physical things, and addressing their diet, addressing their daily habits, right? Living in the flow state. We're talking about all of this stuff. And in the moon circle, right, in my membership community. So if you're interested, click the link in my bio, join it now while it's only $99 a month. After Tuesday, this Tuesday the 10th, it will go up, okay? The price will go up to $149, so grab it now. And when you lock in that $99 per month price, when you could cancel anytime, by the way, but you're not gonna want to, because we have so many amazing trainings and things coming up, okay? Monthly challenges coming up, right? You're not gonna want to. I'm telling you this right now. But what happens when you lock in a $99 a month price? What happens is that it's $99 every month. So if you're interested and you don't lock it in before Wednesday, I'm sorry, you're gonna regret it. Okay, if you're interested, if you need that the moon circle, if you need that community, if you need a community of women that also are on this journey, it's so important. Okay. You're also going to be able to have, share your experiences and ask questions. And it's just, like I said, it's so much better to heal in communities. You don't want to do this alone, right? A lot of women don't even know where to start. Okay. So we're going to really unpack that in the moon circle, all of these issues. I've had a wonderful membership last year that was amazing. And the testimonials, like women being able to heal their periods and just so many things that came out of that, right? It's amazing. Okay. So check it out. Click the link in my bio. Check it out if you're interested. If you haven't joined my email list, be sure to get on my email list. The link is in my bio to join my email list. And here's the thing, when it comes to fibroids, understand that these are things we have to unpack emotionally, but we also have to unpack physically. We also have to make changes in our lives. We also have to let go of the toxic habits that created the fibroids. You cannot continue to move through life doing the same toxic habits that got you the fibroids. You do have to address this stuff. You do have to not only unpack the stuff, but you do have to make changes. You have to, in order to be healed, you have to make changes from a healed state, right? You have to make changes as you're healing. You have to do, so it's very, like, for example, a lot of women, it's very hard for them to let go of certain foods. It's very hard for them because there's an attachment there. Because we're suppressing things, and we're using the attachment, the comfort food to cope. We're using the bad habits to cope, right? We're using these things to cope. Okay, so this is why it's so important to address this stuff. It's so important so that you can be free. Do you know how good it is? Like, as somebody that dealt with fibroids not once but twice and was able to heal it the second time on her own, do you know how just emotionally debilitating fibroids are, just especially as they start exhibiting symptoms? Like you have a physical tumor in your womb space and you think that that's not affecting you emotionally, physically, mentally, it is. Okay? So it's not something you want to just ignore. It's there. You have to address it, right? Or what happens is just like it gets worse. The symptoms get worse. It starts manifesting into other health issues, right? It has to be addressed. It has to be addressed. Okay. So if you want to go further with healing with me, if you want to work with me in healing your body and healing your womb and dissolving your fibroids, like my clients that had dissolved 4 fibroids, and my other client that was able to get pregnant after dissolving 4 fibroids and dissolving adenomyosis, also uterine scarring, raising upper AMH levels. Listen, my Detoxify Your Womb program has a 3-month tier and a 6-month tier, and that's where I work with you to transform completely from your your emotional state we address emotional blockages in there. We're releasing as well, learn how to release and transmute that stuff. And also too, we also address physically, the physical things that cause fibroids, the physical root causes, right? The hormonal imbalances. We address the systems in the body that are, for example, that are blocked. Because if you have fibroids, then you have a lot of blocked elimination pathways. So we address that, rebalance your hormones. We dissolve the fibroid, right? So it's so important. So this is where I work with women like directly in order to completely transform. That's for women that want to actually step into the best version of themselves, because you don't walk into the Detoxify program the same way you walk out. And that program has changed women's lives, and I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of it. From getting rid of fibroids to PCOS to women getting pregnant naturally, who have gone through fertility treatments in the past, who have gone through surgeries in the past, just to have them come back, right? So that program, it has been a blessing in so many women's lives and just has helped so many women. So that program is for women that are like ready to do the high level work, okay? And of course I take you through it as well. So if you are interested in that, that's the highest level to work with me, be sure to email me. The link is in my bio. You can, there will be an envelope symbol where you can email me directly, okay? So does anybody have any questions? I know somebody had a question earlier and I said, wait for that question to ask it later. I want to do a little Q&A before we go on fibroids, on emotional suppression, on if you want to ask about any of my services as well. We have an anemia masterclass coming up next week, a holistic anemia reversal masterclass next week. I'm gonna talk a lot about anemia, because you guys cannot be out here bleeding out to death. Like, it's just ridiculous. You guys cannot be out here with low iron stores in your body. Do you know how important iron is to the body? And a lot of you guys don't have the correct information on how to heal it. It's a process, and anemia can be healed in less than a month. And I'm going to teach you how in the masterclass on September 16th. When is it? Next Monday, September 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you have not signed up for that class, sign up for it. It's only $22, okay? So anybody have any questions? Everybody's quiet tonight. Did you guys enjoy the live? Did you guys learn a lot? Has anybody been here since the beginning of the live? I don't hear nothing. You guys enjoy the live? You guys learned something today? Okay, maybe you guys are busy, I don't know. But I hope that this live resonated with you. I hope that it actually also made you aware of some things and that you learned a lot today. It's so important that we understand that these issues, when it comes to reproductive health issues, they're deeper than just physical. They're much deeper than just physical. As a matter of fact, every health issue has a spiritual root cause, okay? Including fibroids, including endometriosis, including PCOS. These things have spiritual root causes, and it's so important to unpack that and to do the work to address the physical root cause and the emotional root causes. If you're not addressing the root cause of any issue, it will become a recurring issue in your life. You have to get to the root of issues. Same thing with anemia. You have to get to the root cause of that too. Okay, I learned a lot today. Is the live video recorded for replay? No, I'm thank you. I'm happy that you learned a lot today. The live video it's on TikTok, so it's not recorded, unfortunately. That's why you guys gotta be here in real time. Will the class cover how to reduce bleeding? Well, great question. When you when actually have a course on that, how to eliminate heavy bleeding, but however, that's like $27 if you go to the link in my bio. However, it will, when you raise your iron levels, you do by default, that does control the bleeding. Okay, you guys understand, when you have low iron, it's like a catch-22 with low iron. It does cause you to bleed more and more and more, right? So as you're healing the anemia, you're gonna notice like less and less bleeding. Absolutely. So essentially, I guess it will help you reduce heavy bleeding. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. But anemia is important. You have to heal that anemia. You have to get to the root cause of the problem. You guys have been taking iron pills and infusions for years. That doesn't address the root cause. It just keeps coming back, right? It just keeps coming back, and that's not the correct way to heal. A lot of times, these iron pills, ladies, cause long-term issues. This is why a lot of women are dealing with constipation, feeling nausea after taking their iron pills. Why would you take something that causes you to keep waste in your body? That's not what we do. Anything that causes you to keep waste in your body, which is constipation, it's like causing you to not be able to release waste, then what does that do? Right? That's essentially like causing toxins to flow around your body. Hey Ursula, so far I went from 9 days to 6 to 7 days. Yay! Ursula has the Freedom from Fibroids, a mastery course. Yay! Okay, I'm excited. I cannot wait, Ursula, till you tell me that your fibroids are healed. You're welcome. I'm excited. Yay! That's amazing. From 9 days to 6 to 7 days. Listen, Ursula has been to my masterclass before, and she took the Freedom from Fibroids course. The work works, okay? The work works, but you guys have to do the work. And as you're healing fibroids, the things that you're gonna notice are your periods getting much better, of course, your hormones feeling more balanced. I want you, this is the thing, your goal is for us to get that period down to 3 days, okay? But I know you're gonna do it, Ursula. I know you're gonna do it, okay? That's the goal. We want it down to 3 days. We don't want to be bleeding more than 4 days, okay? But honestly, I look 5 months pregnant due to fibroids. Can your holistic remedy heal large fibroids of sizes? Absolutely. Naoma, when we're done with this live, I want you to go to my my pinned post, and you're gonna see the client I had that had really large fibroids, right? The client that I had that had really large fibroids. You're gonna see her stomach before before she started working with me, and her stomach now. Like two and a half months into the program, she went almost flat. She looked almost like she was like, what was it, like she had an 8-month pregnancy. It wasn't pregnant, but 8-month 8-month, what do they call it? Her uterus was the size of an 8-month pregnancy. That's what I want to say. So absolutely, it works. The protocol works for large fibroids, absolutely. And I always say that women that have large fibroids, they have to take action soon. This is not something you want to wait on. It's not something you want to continuously wait on. You want to take action, and the right action, not just throwing spaghetti at the wall, trying everything that you see. You want to take the right action. Okay, you want to actually take a protocol that actually heals your fibroids from all levels. And you do have to address the emotional root cause as well as you're doing that. Okay. So if no more questions, we're gonna go now. I hope that you guys have a wonderful, this won't be recorded, unfortunately. The lives that I'm gonna do are just gonna be, you gotta be here in person, okay? So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Check out the moon circle. If you wanna do further emotion, if you wanna address the emotional blockages further, and you wanna align with your body, align with your womb, align with your menstrual cycle, and be in a community of women that are also doing the work, I need you to join the moon circle while it is on sale, okay? Because it's going to go up after Tuesday. So it's $99 a month now. You're gonna want to be in a community as you're doing this work, okay? And if you're dealing with anemia, you need to be in that masterclass next week, okay? That we're having in, less than 8 days? Next Monday, the holistic anemia. I've been getting so many messages about that masterclass. I'm like, it's the link in the bio to sign up and for more information. But go to the link in my bio and register for the holistic anemia reversal masterclass. If you're dealing with anemia, we have to, like I said, we cannot continue to let this go on. We cannot continue to, women that have been bleeding out and dealing with anemia for months and years. No. If you go to that I have a anemia is dangerous video that I made. The comments under that video like literally made me want to cry, from strokes, because yes, anemia can cause strokes, to heart palpitations, to fainting, to, it's horrible. We have to stop doing this to ourselves. We got to stop doing this to ourselves. Something that can be healed naturally. You can heal anemia in less than a month, right? In less than a month. And I've helped clients do that. When a client first starts working with me for fibroids and they're anemic, we address the anemia first, quickly, because I don't play with it when it comes to anemia. The body cannot heal when your vital organs are not getting enough oxygen. That's scary. That's not something you want to continue to let go on. Okay, so if you are watching this and you're anemic, you need to be in that that holistic anemia reversal masterclass. Okay, so that's pretty much it. If nobody else has any questions, I'm gonna go now. Make sure you guys join the Moon Circle. Again, the price goes up after Tuesday. If you want to address, if you want to be in the community and you want to address the emotional blockages and you want to be in the community while you're doing it and you want to learn more about this and you also want to learn how to connect with the womb space, you want to learn more about womb healing nutrition and also not just learn about it, but also implement it. Hey, thank you, sis. I'm anemic, and whenever I take iron supplements with orange juice, I get nauseated. Oh, first of all, those iron pills are not the type of iron your body recognizes, and you're talking to somebody that's literally tried all that for years, right? It's not going to heal you. And this is why women that take iron pills, their iron just fluctuates. They never are able to see, stable, good iron, right? It just fluctuates, right? So plus orange juice is just full of sugar. You don't want to take, taking that with orange juice is problematic. Okay, it's acting weird. So you want to actually get to the root cause of the problem. When you have anemia, you have to address the gut. You got to address the gut. You have to address, the bleeding. You have to address this stuff. You cannot just think that you can suppress it by taking these things. You have to address the root cause of the anemia. What's causing your body to lose out on iron, okay? And the gut is one thing as well, okay? Why is the absorption issue? Why is your body not absorbing iron? There's a reason for that. The block and elimination pathways. Things have to be addressed. So we're going to talk about that in the anemia reversal class. I hope to see you there, Naoma. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Any more questions? I'm going to answer one more question before we go because I've been here for an hour, okay? TikTok has told me I've been here for a whole hour. But this was a great live. I appreciate you guys for coming through. I know that we talked about a lot and it was heavy, okay? Spinach drink helps with iron levels and beats RBs. Well, I'm not saying it doesn't, absolutely, but what we don't want to do is that, because I see women doing this, right? We still haven't addressed the root cause of the low iron. And yes, beets and spinach are great, but also too, you haven't addressed the gut. So then again, our irons just fluctuate, right? We haven't addressed the root cause of the iron issue, right? We haven't unblocked our elimination pathways. You see what I'm saying? So hopefully that makes sense. But those things please drink those things every day if you can, right? But you have to, like I said, address the root cause. If not, it's just gonna continuously fluctuate. Because you see people doing that and they feel better for maybe a couple months and then it's back to low and then it's back. It's just, they're never able to really heal, okay, from the low iron. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, ladies, that's pretty much it, okay? I don't see any more questions. Any other questions before we go? Any other questions? And there's a lot of things that you guys are eating too. We're gonna learn about that in the masterclass that also block your iron levels. That's another thing as well. That block your iron levels too. Think I missed the whole life. Yeah, you missed the whole life. Ebony, I'm sorry. Yes. Oh, bye, sis. See you next time. You missed the whole live. It's towards the end. That's why I make sure I send out announcements. Thank you for the information you've shared. You're welcome. I hope that this was helpful. I'm going to try to get the recording, but it's weird. TikTok has been really slow and weird lately with saving the recording. Every time I try to save it, it does not work. So if it does work, I'll post it on YouTube, and make sure you guys are subscribed to my YouTube channel. But that's if it does. I doubt it. Most women are anemic due to fibroids. Absolutely. But you can still, but you can still heal your anemia with fibroids. I've helped women do it. Okay. I I've helped women who have fibroids. Like I said, the first thing I address with fibroids is their anemia, because your fibroids cannot heal with that anemia there, right? With you having low iron, with the oxygen not being able to be sent to your vital organs. So the first thing that we do within less than a month is heal that anemia. So you can still heal anemia with fibroids, with PCOS, with any of these reproductive health issues. Okay, so understand that. All right, ladies. Hope that you hope that you guys have a good night. I don't see no other questions, so I'm gonna go now. Okay, have a good one. Thank you guys so much for being here, and make sure that you guys join the Moon Circle again for deeper emotional work. Number one, for how to release these emotional blockages, to how to also address these, like I said, emotional suppression, address emotional blockages, and to also be in a community that's going to help you with, connecting more with your body, connecting more with your menstrual cycles and your womb as well. It's going to teach you. We're going to learn so much in the Moon Circle. So click the link in my bio for more information and to join. Again, it is before Wednesday. Join before Wednesday, because it's $99 right now a month to join. Okay. And yeah, I'm excited about it. And I'm going to do my first live in there this week. So yeah, I'm excited. All right. Bye, ladies.